So being tech savvy in this field actually matters, but not in the way that you think it does. Now, there's numerous studies that prove that as humans, the better we get at something, the more likely we are to continue doing that thing. So when you're tech savvy, you learn things in this field more quickly, and thus you are more likely to keep putting in time learning more and more, and that just keeps on compounding on itself. And in that way, you can level up a lot faster than someone that is not naturally inclined to this stuff. However, what I'm speaking of right now is a very short-term view, a very narrowed view of this stuff, right? If you want to completely excel in this field and you're willing to extend your time horizon out by a bit, suddenly whether or not you're tech savvy starts to become rather irrelevant. Now, to illustrate this point, I'm going to bring up a story that is a children's story a little bit, but I'm sure everyone here is familiar with it, and that would be the tortoise and the hare, right? I think everyone, at least all of the American viewers, are probably familiar with this story. And the premise is this, right? There's a race being run between a tortoise and a hare, right? Obviously, the rabbit, the hare, is a lot faster than the turtle. So it should win the race every time, right? But, this rabbit comes out of the gate, flies past the turtle, and then just ends up, wasting a lot of time because it doesn't have a long-term view. It has more of a short-term view, whereas the turtle is very slow, but it's steady. It doesn't stop. It just keeps on advancing forward. And basically, to sum all this up, to speed through all this, at the end of the story, what you find is that the turtle actually beats the rabbit in the race because it was just, slow and steady. That's where the mantra of slow and steady wins the race comes from, right? Now, if we look at who has a higher potential, right? Who has a higher likelihood of winning this race? Like, everyone would bet on the rabbit, right? But you really want to adopt the mantra of the turtle when it comes to learning cyber security, right? And what the story really illustrates is that it doesn't matter whether or not, in the long term, it does not at all matter whether you are tech savvy or not. It doesn't matter if you have a natural aptitude, if you will, for it. If you have the interest and you just keep moving forward, even if it's slow and steady, and in many cases it's going to feel slow and steady in this field because it's a very non-linear thing to learn, right? There's so many, when you start off in the beginning, there's so much that you don't know, and you don't even have a basis of understanding, and so everything seems overwhelming. And then the more skills you acquire, the more you learn, the easier it is to learn more stuff. So it's a pretty exponential curve, if you will, of learning, but there's always going to be more hurdles in the way. So even that hare, right? If you are the rabbit and you have a natural inclination for it, you might want to adopt a hybrid approach, basically, of flying off the starting line, but also staying steady as well. Ideally you would have both, but if you would describe yourself as more of a turtle coming into this, you can definitely still greatly excel in this field. But the problem that a lot of people have that are naturals at this, they might fly off the starting line, do very well in the beginning, and inevitably, no matter how well you do in the beginning, you will hit your first roadblock, right? You will run into issues where, okay, now it's not so easy, now it's not so fun. There will be a concept that you encounter that you won't have like the immediate answer to. And in that scenario, if you've already been experiencing, taking the stance of the turtle, and it's just another obstacle in your path and you don't care, you're just going to keep on learning, keep on moving forward, then you can much more easily deal with that than if you were used to things being pretty cruise control, pretty smooth, and then you hit your first major roadblock. Now, just to give you guys some insider information, for myself being a professional in the field, and everyone I've talked to, without exception, has said that even they are constantly running into roadblocks, difficulties in this field. That's part of what makes it fun. It's challenging, right? So if you're the type of person that likes that challenge, then this is definitely something that will, this field probably appeals very well to you. And I did a video on, the top 5 traits that signify you're probably going to be pretty successful in this field. You probably want to watch that video if you haven't already and you want to learn more about that. But really, just adopting that mantra of, just going to keep on moving forward regardless is going to help you a lot. And what's also, of course, going to help you is the ability to interview well once you find yourself at that point where you're ready to go into the job interviews. And that's why I've created down in the description below my top 10 pen testing interview questions. These are the top 10 ones that you need to know, absolutely need to know if you want to get your first job as a pen tester, or even if you want to get a higher paying job in the field. So check that out as well. Now, you might have a limiting belief about yourself as well, that you don't have a knack for this. And you might actually have Michael Jordan level talent in this field, right? So you really you really have to be aware of that as well. A lot of times we put labels on ourselves and we say, I am this and I am not this. You want to catch yourself when you're doing that and eliminate that as much as possible. Because if you put yourself in that box, the chances that you break out of that box become significantly harder. And don't let other people, while I'm on the subject, don't let other people do that to you as well. If you find people, putting you in a box and labeling you as you are this and you are not this, then, really address that at the time. Like, you probably want to let them know that that's not something that that you want them to be saying to you. You might want to make it clear to them that you're not going to accept that, right? And there's different ways to go about doing it, right? You don't have to be rude about it or anything like that. But you want to be firm and have your boundaries as well, and don't let other people put you into those boxes, right? Because what we believe about ourselves is very often what becomes our reality, right? So you want to make sure that just from a mindset perspective, that you're always growing, that you're always open to growth and change. No one, I wouldn't say no one, but very few people in this field felt like they had a knack for it on day one, right? I don't want to speak for everyone. I will say for sure for me, I wasn't sure if I had a knack for it or not when I first started. A lot of the stuff was really hard. So just be ready for that. Expect that going in, and you will learn stuff over time, and things will get easier, but there will always be challenges. So just really be aware of your limiting beliefs and the story that you might tell yourself about yourself. And as well, just to take a step back and put this in an all new perspective for you. If you think that, if you're one of these people that, you've heard what I said just now, you still think that you are not cut out for this, is not your strong suit, you don't have a knack for it, stop and ask yourself this question: how much time, effort, and money have you put into learning this skill set at this point, right? And if the answer is hardly any or none, then, if you haven't put any time, effort, or money into learning this stuff, why would it be reasonable to assume that you should be good at it? You know what I mean? So put in that time, effort, energy first, and learn these skill sets, and you might very well find that you think differently about yourself. And that's what's so rewarding about learning something difficult in life like cybersecurity. It's very rewarding. It's just what I've found personally, and I know I've talked to a lot of other people who said the same. So hopefully that helped you out. And if you are one of those people that are new to pen testing and you don't know where to get started, check out the video on screen right now. New to pen testing in 2022, start here. Simple as that. I'll see you guys over in that video right now.